Hello and good evening everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So, we are gathered here today to do a board game review. And I have some help from a good friend. He is none other than the seasoned board gamer, Mr. Juantastic, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello, Juan.
Hello.
How do you do?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. So, what is our board game of the evening?
Today we are going to be talking about The Hunger by Richard Garfield. You may be familiar with Richard Garfield. He has produced such games as Robo Rally, Keyforge, and of course Magic the Gathering.
Magic, I've heard of that.
Yes, it's somewhat famous.
It's kind of magic.
Yes, it is. Definitely. It's a kind of magic. Like Magic the Gathering, The Hunger is a card-driven game. It's a deck builder. But unlike Magic the Gathering, which is a collectible card game, this is self-contained in its own box.
Yeah. And how many players?
2 to 6 players.
And we have tried this both 5 players and 2 players.
Yes.
And we'll come back to all of that later, what we thought works best. Where would you put this in like a complexity and how the learning curve and how difficult this is?
This is not the most complex game I have ever played. It's not particularly difficult. It may seem a bit intimidating at first, but the rulebook is something like 6 pages. And it's fairly easy to learn.
Yeah, I mean, once you've gotten past the first 2-3 turns, everything goes by itself after that.
Definitely, definitely.
And this is a very nice game to check out for Halloween, because it's, as the name says, The Hunger. It's a vampire game. And what did you think of the theme of the game? And
I really like the theme.
Yeah.
I like the way they play on the theme, as it has you hunting for humans.
And a rose.
And a rose. There's a rose at the end of the game,
yes,
if you go for it.
If you go for it.
Yes. Because this game does have a risk-reward kind of system, where if you push your luck, you may get rewarded.
And you may also end up being eliminated from the game if you push your luck too much.
Definitely.
Because you start at the castle and then you go out to hunt humans and try to get your hands on the rose. If you want to go all the way to the other side, was that in the graveyard? The rose? No, the graveyard.
The
forest.
Yes, at the end.
At the end of the forest.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back before sunrise. And the game consists of 15 turns, wasn't it? 14 or 15?
Yes.
15
turn 15 is the sunrise.
Yeah, turn 15 is the sunrise. If you have
a parasol,
umbrella or parasol, you can have 1 extra turn at the end. So it's a nice game, like theme-wise. And yeah, and I really liked the art style. The art style basically was what got me to buy the game. It's visually very pleasant, both like the characters, the cards, and not to mention the map is really nice and cool.
Yes, it is. It looks very good.
It looks nice. What did you think of the like kind of funny, cartoony art style?
I really liked it.
Yeah,
it's very stylized. It's very well done. It's
absolutely
crisp design.
Yeah. And the map and how to move and everything was very tidy. I like that. It was like you know exactly where you're supposed to move, how everything works once you set up the game. Yeah, and the tokens and the components of the game. What did you think of that?
I like them. They're very nice. It's very obvious what everything is.
Yeah, the character tokens. That's like chunky wooden tokens.
Chunky wooden tokens, very colorful, very big, and it's very clear where everyone is.
Yeah. What do you want to continue on? Anything you want to
Well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, the game has. There's an elephant in the room when it comes to the game design.
I only see a horse. A horse with no remorse.
A horse with no remorse. A creepy horse with no remorse.
True.
The game itself, it has some very obvious similarities with Clank,
Yes,
which is also published by Renegade Studios. And it has that same push your luck thing where at the end of the game, in Clank it's the bottom of the castle, in this game it's the end of the path at the end of the forest, and if you try to go for the treasure at the end, then you may risk being eliminated if you don't manage to make it out in the end.
Yeah. This you're drawing cards, and if you have too many cards that give you points, then they're going to make you slower as you move.
Yes,
because you collect all these humans, and you might not have any movement on your cards, and you're depending on movement to get back to the castle. And in Clank, there's a dragon or something does the dragon kill you?
Yes, the dragon can kill you. Yes,
yeah. I've never played that game.
It's a great game. It's definitely worth trying as well.
Cool. All right, then we have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, the gameplay was pretty simple, as we kind of explained. It's not too difficult. You start your turn by drawing 3 cards, and that's your hand. So it's not 5 cards. It's a 3-card hand you play with. And based on your movement, you move around the map, and it's the person that has progressed furthest on the map that starts.
Yes.
That can be quite an advantage sometimes.
It can, and it's also interesting because it means when you're leaving the castle to hunt, then whoever is the furthest away and who's gotten the farthest is the person who goes first, and on your way back, it's the person who's the furthest behind
who goes
first.
And another thing is that, like, what you have this, what do you call the area where you could hunt the humans or the cards, the 3 rows, second row, and all the
piles. Oh yes, of course, yeah, the cards you could
what was
hunt
it?
track.
Hunt track.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The hunt track.
Yes.
So if you go first in the early rounds, it can be an advantage because then you might get hold of the cards that are very rare or give you a lot of points before anyone else. But I never felt it was a game where one player totally takes over.
Yeah.
You feel it's balanced? Somewhat.
I felt so. After having played it twice. I feel the balance is fairly good. Yeah.
When we first play this 5-player, I would prefer playing this 2 or 3-player, maybe 4 players, but not 5 or 6. Because there is some downtime the more players you add into the mix.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed it as a 2-player game, and I end up playing 2-player games way more than anything else. Hey, I have friends. Silence.
Just one at a time.
One at a time. Yeah, so it's a really nice 2-player game, even though you can be up to 6.
Yes. No, I agree. I liked it very well as a 2-player game. And not all games that have 2 or more players are very good 2-player games. But I felt this was really well made for 2 players. And I also agree that 5 players does lead to a fair bit of downtime.
Downtime, but on the other hand, there's more chaos, more madness on the map, and everybody's trying to get. Basically, you're competing. It's a lot more competitive with 5 players.
Yes.
So it depends what you like, and if you have depends definitely on who your friends are and who you're playing with. So if you have a nice group of friends that are quick with their turns. My friends who will watch this are gonna kill me. Anyway, so yeah, it's a nice game. 2, 3, and if you're patient and you have friends who can play fast, then I guess 4 or 5 can work too.
And I suppose if everyone around the table knows it, it'll flow better. So the second time you play it, it will go. The
5-player game was our first time playing the game.
It was. And for anyone who hasn't tried it, I think 5 players is a bit too much when you're trying the new game with everyone being new to the game.
Start the game with just maybe one other person or two, and then once everybody know the game, add more players.
Yes, agreed.
And the risk reward system, as we said, you always think you have. I thought I was gonna I didn't think I was pushing my luck too much. I was trying to be efficient, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. But I actually just made it on the last turn.
Yeah, I did not.
You did not?
No.
Just on one turn. Like if you had one more turn, you would have gone back.
Yeah, it's like we talked about earlier. I ended up with too many humans. Tried to go for the big points and go grab a rose, and I just bit over more than I could chew.
Literally,
that's true.
But the game is 14 or 15 rounds, so you can see how far you've gotten on the map and how many turns that are left. So you should okay, I'm not even halfway to the rose and it's getting close to sunrise. Maybe I should head back. And there are a lot of different strategies you can go for.
Yes.
I mean, you could just try to camp and eat hunt and go a totally different route than for the rose. Yes. But the rose will give you some extra points, and also there are missions.
Yes.
The missions can also give some more strategies and some. You draw 2 missions and you choose one, and then you get more missions as you play. And based on how your playing style is and what missions you draw, you can adjust your strategy based on that. And that I really liked.
Yes.
I didn't know exactly what my strategy was until I got a couple of missions, and I saw some synergy in between the missions, and okay, we're gonna go for this.
Yes.
And you went for a totally different strategy.
Yeah.
So I will say it's you can try many different strategies and still be successful.
Yeah, and I also like the public objectives that anyone can do, but whenever someone does it, it's discarded and gone. So you can
first person.
Yeah, but you can sort of try to wait and try to get more out of it, but then you're risking someone else picking it up.
Yeah.
And they're not a huge deal, but it's enough that it's an extra little thing, and it's. I thought they were fun.
Absolutely. So, anything else we want to? I mean, that's most of the gameplay is like that. You move on the map, you either hunt or you do some other objectives. You can collect some chests and treasures as well, and then you have to go pick up stuff, hunt, and get back before sunrise or you're toast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. Fairly medium quick, I guess you could say. Fairly easy if you want to just put something on the table, play a fun little game for the evening. It's a great one. Great theme for the Halloween.
Absolutely.
And all in all, a solid game. Yeah, it's not the most competitive game I play.
No. Especially not 2 players.
No, but also it's not.
We ended up pushing each other and doing more interactions when we were 5.
Yes.
But yeah, not the most competitive. But it's fun. It's somewhat competitive and doesn't not too difficult, not too demanding time-wise. Very good, well-rounded game to just pick up and play.
Yes, completely agree.
And what dice system should we rate this? On a 6?
On a 6 works.
Okay, so what would your score be out of 6?
Out of 6, I would give this a 4.
Do we go 4, 4 plus, 4 minus, or just whole numbers?
I'd say whole numbers.
Okay.
Maybe a strong 4.
Yeah. Solid 4 for
Solid
me as
4.
well.
Yeah. Because I have played games that are more up my alley. And there are so many games out there.
It's difficult. A solid 4 is a good rating.
Solid 4 is a very good rating because there are some amazing, fantastic games out there. And this game might not be right up there, but it's definitely, I'd say, above average.
And what is good about it, in my opinion, is that some of those really, really top-notch games, I mean, the games I really like, they're more demanding. This is something you can play with. If you have friends over that haven't played a lot of board games, this is not a too complex game to show to some friends, to introduce them to board games. If you know the rules, it's easy to get anyone into this game. And another thing I kind of really enjoyed about this is, I mean, it's a deck builder. And Jahn, you know me, and we have played a lot of games over the years, and I'm not a huge fan of deck builders. I end up just miscalculating and getting a super ineffective deck. But this one I really enjoyed, and for somebody who's not too much into deck builders, I would say also this is a good game if you're not a good deck builder, like you're not good with deck builders or you're not too much into deck building games. This is still very fun.
Yeah, there's not too complex sort of synergies between the cards. And also I think there's not as much randomness as there are in other games that are around this complexity level.
Didn't do that bad.
Yes, because in this game, if you lose, then you can see why you lost.
Yeah.
Get
too greedy.
Yeah. In a game like, let's say, Catan, just to pick up one random one, the dice rolling can screw you over.
Totally.
And in this game, if you draw bad cards, it's because you're the one who chose to pick up those cards.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Solid 4. Totally something I would recommend. Absolutely something I would recommend for Halloween. And also, Mr. Juantastic here, you have a board game store, shop, a web shop.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so I'm going to link his web shop in the description if you guys want to check out his store. You got a lot of cool games.
I try.
You try, yeah. And yeah, that's nice. Check out his board game store. And me and Jahn will definitely do more board games for Halloween. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and we're going to do lots of fun stuff for Halloween. And thank you, Jahn, for joining me on the board game review. Our first board game review on the Shakakapow Halloween reviews. Yeah. All right. Shakakapow.
Thank you. Shakakapow. Cheers.
Cheers.
What?
Something behind you, man.
Ah!
Oh my God! I'll save you! Die, horse! Oh no! It's eating him! And then it might also eat me! I gotta get out of here!